Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So as you guys know, this past month I went on my first blind date in an ungodly amount of time. Let's put it that way. And I quickly realized that dating is not exactly what I want. It does resolve a few things. What do I mean by that? Well, last summer we had a significant heat wave here in the Phoenix area where I live. It was 110 degrees, and I got COVID-19. And I quickly discovered how hostile the world is to navigate when you're alone. I live in a very small apartment. I was just recovering from COVID-19. I was disoriented. I was dehydrated. I went to my favorite grocery store to pick up some comfort foods, and there was nowhere to sit down. And I camped out at the store to eat it. And you can imagine this is a Fry's grocery store. They are owned by Kroger's. I was sitting on a mobility scooter eating it, and you can imagine how hostile the store security was to me, right? It's 110 degrees. If it happened today, I'd probably go out to my car. I'm recording this on Black Friday. If it happened today, oh my God, I'd go to my car to eat it. I wouldn't want to fuck with these guys, right? But at the time, it was 110 degrees. It was probably even hotter inside the car, right? And it just goes to show how left behind I feel. It's one thing to not have that partner. It's a completely other thing when the other 8 billion people in the world are hostile to you, right? Maybe not 8 billion, because in other parts of the world, it probably wouldn't have played out that way. But you get the idea, right? At least the other 330 million people are very hostile when you're dealing with stuff like this alone, right? And these people, they ought to be ashamed of themselves, because the average person is not that far away from being alone, right? Even if you're married, just look up the divorce rates, right? Certainly most people are not that far away from getting an illness of some sort, whether it be COVID-19 or a nasty cold or flu or cancer, right? The person who tried to kick me out of the store, chances are he may run into my shoes at some point in his life, right? He may have in the past. I would argue that he probably didn't in the past. Otherwise, he would understand a little bit more, right? And then there was last month, I was lonely. I was heartbroken. And I found myself getting into near miss car accidents almost every day. And I confided with one of my colleagues. I knew she had a decent car and she could drive me to work. Now, keep in mind, even if she doesn't work the same hours, if she could drive me to work, even if it's before my hours, I'd be perfectly fine with hanging out in the campus, right? I'm not picky about stuff like that. And she completely blew off the idea and told me that, I should probably look into getting some FMLA at work. Now, here's the thing. I was doing really well at work. In fact, I was doing much better than I am now, because at the time I was burying my head in my work. I was getting 5 out of 5 on my reviews with the students. And again, my colleague, who didn't want to give me the right to work, even though she was completely capable of doing it, she may run into that. She's married, but like I said, she may become widowed at some point, right, in her life, and may run into mental health dramas during that time as well, right? And I wonder if she'll remember how she told me to take FMLA. She may have a time when her work is doing really well, but there's something else going on, right? I'm sure everybody has one of those times, right? And then she started to say that to call me a workaholic around the other colleagues. And I know she said it in a playful way, but I certainly didn't take it that way. Last year, I really wanted to network with people. I can't really afford to eat out at the dining halls in our campus every day. So I was negotiating with my job to see if we can put me on some kind of a meal plan. And I said, it's nice to not have to leave campus to eat and all that. And I got some pretty hostile attitudes about that as well. So what do I want out of life? The reason I'm starting to date again, and I got a rude awakening a couple nights ago, because the girl I'm dating wants to do this one activity that I don't really see any value in. Let's put it that way. I won't say what that activity is on here. And she wants to. I don't want to say what the thing is, but she wants some kind of investment that the two of us could produce together. And again, not for me. I'm more looking for a life partner so that we can cook for each other. We could drive each other to work when there's a mental distress like that. And quite frankly, if I didn't have a life partner, but instead I had a meal plan, I could go out to eat every day and talk to people there, because I don't need a life partner. I need connection with others. And I could have my comfort food delivered to me when I'm sick, and have somebody drive me to work. I don't think I actually need that date, right? So pray that I come up with those things. And But you know what? I'll continue dating because it was kind of fun anyway. And I made a close friend, I would say. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.